CM Punk had a fairly big role to play for the opening match on night 2 of WrestleMania. It's so funny. I seem to remember there was a certain promo that he would cut about, lampooning people that would end up being a part of a buy 2, get 1 night off, free main event, the night 1, spectacular. So funny, somebody now with a smile on his face, wearing a corporate suit, doing commentary. Well, I was so happy to be a part of it. But hey, you know what? As long as Phil is happy, the wrestling world is gonna be great. I'm sure it's not gonna blow up like every other place, including the Fed that he's been before. I'm sure this time, okay, what is this, 18th time's the charm? Fantastic. But it looks like the old man is no longer on the mend, or at least he's at a point in time where he can go ahead and conduct a bit of a beatdown, throw a couple of stomps to Drew McIntyre, who was world heavyweight champion for 25 seconds in between, him winning a 10-minute bout against Seth Rollins to open up night 2, then only to get dunked on by Emo Undertaker. Cool, fantastic. I'm sure that's going to be a wonderful story. But I guess the big story, even though, they ended up very much diminishing their secondary world title, which was already kind of diminished to begin with because it was put on a bitch who was definitely 4th billed for their main event of night 1. But I've tested Seth Rollins just about as long as I've detested CM Punk, so that's another story for another time. But night 2 opened with a bang as an injured CM Punk impacts WrestleMania 40. Damian Priest cashes his money in the bank on Drew McIntyre. Yeah, shout out Punishment Martinez. If the opening match is anything to go by, Sunday night is going to be crazy. Well, it kind of wasn't, and the crowd kind of died halfway through. But hey, Cody won, and that's cool, I guess, but whatever. Big story was, yes, Punk getting physical, helping Damian Priest win, meaning that, his road to recovery looks like it's going to be wrapping up here relatively shortly. Meaning he's going to get involved in, obviously, the world title picture, but then also dealing with Drew McIntyre, probably for Scotland, and then setting up probably a 4 corners match, depending on how the draft ends up shaking out. SummerSlam. Who knows? Who cares? There's a bigger story involving CM Punk going around right now, and it involves, yes, that MMA Hour interview, which is about a week old and still has plenty of legs underneath of it, especially with a current revelation that is supposed to peak later this week. Peak's probably going to be an incorrect term, knowing how short-tempered, or as the way that Phil likes to put it, I was very measured, okay, it was a very reasonable response. Yeah, I'm sure, fantastic stuff. Cooler heads will prevail, I bet. But how Punk was basically throwing AEW, Tony Khan, everybody but himself under the bus for what happened at and leading up to All In 2023, September long weekend in the UK. Gave him credit, it's like, okay, it's not that great that his travel ended up getting screwed up when he was down there. That's, not great, but his recanting of events has always been questionable by third-party observers, going, yeah, things were heated, and Phil, the short guy with the tattoos, he was getting pretty heated, and there was a big Samoan guy who came over and he straightened everybody out. Like, there's been a whole bunch of retellings of that event, and Punk's on the MMA Hour across from Judas Helwani. It's like, okay, that's probably the most first-party account that we've heard from anybody involved. Smojo wasn't going to say anything. Jack Perry currently using it as a gimmick over in NJPW. It's like, okay, cool. But what's Tony Khan going to say about that? Because he was back there and I feared for my life. And anything that he has to say about it, well, there's this contingent of anti-AEW people that are out there that are just going to go ahead and dunk on him regardless of what he does. So I guess he took stock and he took that advice directly to heart, and well, he's going to be airing the footage of All In, the backstage altercation from All In for the first time, and 2 of the people Punk has taken a lot of umbrage with, which I don't even know the genesis of this, and we talked about this so the last time that the Punk video went out. It's like, I don't know why he hates the Elite so much. Got some ideas, but there's nothing concrete to this. Like, where did the animus start with? And well, according to this, and for it to also be backed up, on Sunday, the Young Bucks on releasing Jack Perry CM Punk footage, We Ain't Trolling, apparently is going to be going down on Wednesday. And the fact that they've been sitting on this stuff for, 6 months? Half a year in order to just drop it right after WrestleMania, knowing that all the heat's going to be off the company, going to be off of WWE, and AEW is also like I think this is their go home for their next, or at least the go home Dynamite for the next pay-per-view. It's interesting. I've seen a lot of opinions on this. Oh, they're so petty. Oh, this is some Vince Russo type stuff. Oh, this is bringing the internet to the real product. Oh, this is going to hurt the business. Like, anything that AEW does is going to get shit on. I understand that. It's like, I'm of two minds of this. Yeah, I can see the petty aspect of it, but at the same time, you're having your company defamed. You're having your roster thrown under the bus by somebody who is wildly popular, but also has an axe to grind. And if you know that he is lying, spreading falsehoods, and you have the opportunity to play the backstage footage, add commentary to it, give the proper perspective on it, shed a light that wouldn't normally be afforded to this situation, instead of letting cooler heads prevail, which has happened over the previous set of months. At this point in time, hey man, you want to fight fire with fire? Better come correct. So, footage of CM Punk Jack Perry altercation to air on AEW Dynamite. The altercation led to CM Punk's firing from AEW. Exactly, and that's important to note. Remember, the rantings of CM Punk comes from a bitter, fired man. A guy who, I just wanted to leave this company. Oh, I was nothing but pleasant. Oh, he made another show for me that I was taking responsibility for, but I didn't want. And just shut up. The inconsistencies. I'm glad that this is going to get spotlighted. All the people that are saying, oh, this is a bad look. Oh, just hold the L, are the same E-drones that are going to be turning on Cody Rhodes in a couple of months' time, where they just say that he's going to be boring and that, oh, hey guys, have you ever noticed in his promos, all he ever does is bring up his old man? It's like, yeah, I've seen that for a long time. I was watching AEW at the point in time where everybody was like, is this motherfucker going to turn, or what's the deal that's going on over here? Is he trying to do a Homelander thing, or is he just, taking out a bunch of grudges on former Fed guys that get brought over and then just sticking them into these weird, endless, nebulous programs because it's kind of getting old? But no, man, best of luck. A company with a lot of money and a bunch of commercial space, I'm sure it's going to do so much better with them. Anyways, on Collision, it was announced that the Young Bucks will present backstage footage from All In and will discuss for the first time on Wednesday. According to both Dave Meltzer, who is insufferable on the best of days, and Brian High-Pitched Alvarez, is not a bait-and-switch tactic, and Tony Khan will air the footage of the altercation from last August event in Wembley Stadium. All right, end of August, because All Out was Labor Day weekend. My mistake. Before the main card of AEW All In, Punk and Perry got into an altercation after Perry used real glass during a spot on the pre-show, saying it's real glass, cry me a river, which was in regards to the confrontation Punk had with Perry earlier in the summer over the spot taped on Collision, which we talked about in the previous video about the MMA Hour interview. After an investigation, Punk was fired from AEW with cause. He later returned to the Fed at Survivor Series, and everything is great, and New Japan and the House of Torture has another member in the form of Jack Perry. Who cares? Last Monday, CM Punk spoke about an altercation for the first time on MMA Hour. He said that he thought he was doing a responsible thing and said, I didn't punch anybody. I was choking somebody a little bit. He also denied that he did anything to make Tony Khan fear for his life. As Khan said, following Punk's firing from the company, Meltzer wrote on X that the situation involving Tony Khan won't be shown, as that was at a different time. And yeah, I'd imagine Tony's probably holding on to that one just in case CM Punk gets a little bit too out of pocket. And that right there, because Punk also alluded to in that interview some NDAs that may or may not be signed or something like that. That one's probably a little bit more NDA specific. He also added to Dynamite, match between, Samoa Joe and Dustin Rhodes for in a world title eliminator. Yeah. See that right there? I consider that to be a little bit more petty, to give another Rhodes a title shot in the shadow of another one winning at that bigger event. But yeah, I just want to go to this one for a second. Yeah, as previously reported, the Young Bucks will be showing exclusive backstage footage of the he's great. The Punk and Perry situation live on Wednesday night. We ain't trolling. It is said to be the real deal, and an angry Tony Khan is using the Young Bucks to air the footage in response to Punk's comments. Yeah, but I also think that the Young Bucks, given the fact that outside of a couple of cheeky jabs, what they're kind of known to do, haven't really addressed any of the stuff, and they were the ones taking a bulk of the criticism. They're the ones that have taken a bulk of the criticism by the old heads in the industry. Listen, man, the Young Bucks are great. I don't know what else to tell you. Idiots that still think that, oh, they just do flips and they can't tell a story. I don't know. Have you not been watching since, 2016? These guys are great. They are unironically the best tag team going in the world right now. So for them to just get shitted on by some old dude for no actionable reason doesn't seem to pass the smell test for me, but I'll be paying attention. I'm not going to watch a product because AEW can still go straight to hell, but just to see this little interaction, this little beef manifest between two companies because some old man got a little bit too big for his britches. I said it previously in one of the videos. This is one of the first times where there was something that is legitimate Monday Wars-esque, and for better or for worse, yeah, we're going to be reliving some of that stuff with an interpromotional feud, and some people consider this petty. This is, just shining a light on internet drama. I can see where they're coming from. Then I can also see where the other side is coming from. And, well, I think it's necessary to put some bitter old bitches firmly in their place. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.